You're listening to Learning Leader Spotlight, interviews with corporate L&D leaders. On each episode, we sit down with key industry experts to discover more about what's happening in the world of learning and development, from current trends and insights to the most valuable lessons learned along the way. Join us for a fresh perspective on all things training and the best direction forward. Here's your host, Leanne Langford.
Hi, welcome to Learning Leader Spotlight, the podcast where we interview the learning leaders of today to help the learning leaders of tomorrow. I'm your host, Leanne Langford. I'm the president of Training Pros. Training Pros is a learning and development contract staffing company where we like to say, when you have more projects than people, let us find you the best consultant to start your project with confidence. Really excited about today's guest. It's long in the making. We've been working on getting a date for a while now. I'd like you to join me in welcoming Scott Switalski, the Director of Enterprise Learning and Development at the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. Welcome, Scott.
Thank you, Leanne. Absolutely thrilled to be here. I'm glad we were able to make it work.
I am glad we made it work too. So, can you share with our audience a quick overview of who you are and what you do?
Absolutely. So I would say at the heart of what I do, of my work, is this passion for helping others discover and become the best versions of themselves. Been doing this for 3 decades now. And almost all of that time has been in learning and leadership in the design, develop, implement, facilitate all of learning experiences. And doing that, I've done that in a bunch of different industries like healthcare now, human services, contact centers, Native American tribal government. And so now I'm taking that work to the role I'm in, Director of Enterprise Learning and Development for CHOP, Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. CHOP is what we call it. And I've been there for over 11 years doing the work there. That's it. I have a BA in psychology. Maybe that's helpful in the learning field. And I have a JD. That's a Juris Doctor. That's a law degree from Fordham University in Lincoln Center in Manhattan, New York City. I
So
dropped
that's
that early on to pursue this much more fulfilling stuff around learning.
that's a very interesting degree. I've not run into anyone with that yet in this field. So that just kind of leads into my next question. How did you get into learning and development?
Yeah, it found me. So I became a lawyer. I passed the bar. I actually moved to Arizona, passed the bar there, and practiced for about a year. And the story there is I was applying to be an assistant district attorney, and along with a bunch of other people. So they offered us this work assignment, which was go to the law library. It was that long ago. There's a library. Go to the law library, do some research. This is really what the job will be. And then we'll take the best 3 submissions and interview those folks for the job. So I went and did that. Went to the law library, was sitting there for a couple of hours with my notepad and the open books. And I don't know, after maybe 2 hours of just slogging through all of that, I dropped my notebook, looked up at no one in particular and said, I hate this. Closed all the books up, reshelved them, dropped my legal pad in the garbage on the way out and never looked back. I had no plan B, really. I knew I didn't want to do that. Eventually I was hired. I was hired by someone who was, there are those people in your lives who like changed the trajectory of your life. First one of those who hired me because I had a JD, honestly, for a contract specialist role in an HR group. I was a computer nerd way back then. This is how long ago this is. And I was one of the only people who knew how to use Windows 95, Office 95. Larry was his name. And he approached me and said, you're pretty good at this computer stuff. Could you teach everyone else in this office, like how to do all of that? Like, sure, I can give that a try. Yeah, that's how I got there. You get the dopamine hit for when the light bulbs go off, right? I'm offering this session and people are getting it and they're having these aha moments. I'm like, this is so fun. So much fun. I took a second job in the evenings doing the same thing, same computer training, like Office 95 stuff. So I was working evenings, weekends, and in the day job doing the work of learning, just tweaking it, evolving it, getting better like that. And so I would say I didn't know really L&D was a thing until I started doing it and learning about it. And then there was nothing else for me but that.
So that is a great story. I think that many of us, when we first start going through school and all that, it's like, you should be this. And so you go to that. I did the same thing. My first year of school was I was a computer science major of all things. I'm sitting there in the computer lab because that's when you actually had to go into the lab and, use their computers and I hit compile and I have to sit there and wait and it comes back with an error and I'm like, "I hate this. Am I gonna be doing this 8 hours a day for the rest of my life?" So I changed majors.
Fabulous. That's fabulous. Yeah.
Yeah. It's gotta be a standard thing, but again, like you, I didn't know training was a career path, and I don't think they offered it at my undergrad, so I just kind of found it as well. So, it's a
I
fun
like the idea
field.
that it finds us. Like it's just at some point it finds us and grabs us.
Yeah.
Uh,
I
Light
think it's a
bulb switch.
calling.
That's it, right? Yeah.
Well, so you've been in this field as long as I have. Um, what are the biggest changes you've seen in L&D in the last few years?
Well, I guess the obvious answer is like AI is starting to upend everything. So I'll say AI, and then I'll give you some more after that. So, and I think the big deal with AI, it's AI as augmentation, not necessarily as automation. Yes, I don't know that you can replace. I don't know. We'll see, right? But I don't know that you can replace much in the way of resources. The idea of augmentation. So getting my team uses it to get off a blank page, right? Like the tyranny of the blank page, where a blinking cursor is just like, so what are we going to do? That to get away from that, or to just compile some of your ideas together and offer some themes, or to theme out some conversation that you had from a session, from a learning session. I think there's this accelerator that AI can be, and our team uses, build case studies, take like depersonalize a set of facts that you can then use as a case study or a practice example. But there's so many really good uses there that just really speeds up the development of learning experiences that might have taken a long time, now can be tightened up. Got to have the human space. And granted, I'm speaking from the perspective of someone who practices. Let me air quote the soft skills. Like that's we do leadership development, professional development, career development. Soft skills, those are the human skills. Really, I would move them into human skills. And I've seen an article recently that was calling them power skills, and I'm not so sure I like that so much. But the like that level, the durable, those skills, still human, right? You need the human interface in that because it's about human to human connection. And so, how can we keep that there? So, yes, AI as augment. And then I would say what I've seen, particularly in the work that we do in that leadership space, is much more leaning towards meeting people where they are. Like we have a framework of what learning we want to accomplish, whether that be leadership development or professional development, and then really listening and in session about where people are and what they need, and like as a group guiding towards a destination, right? A lot more of wisdom of the room, leaning into the wisdom of the room, and just helping guide sort of on the fly about where we want to go as folks. So that making it about the participant, that participant centricity, like true participant centricity, is a really powerful way to keep people engaged and application of skills that in that direction.
So I'm glad you had a little bit of a different answer than just AI and how it's changing everything. That's fantastic. So along that same line, where do you see L&D going? What are the next things coming?
I'm going to go a different direction. So maybe it's an AI pendulum swing. Like it's AI everywhere all the time now, and you see like organizations are looking to replace people, and I feel like that's too far, right? We're pendulum swinging it too far, and maybe we'll come back from there, and maybe we'll realize that, I hope, that AI is partner, AI is augmentation, AI helps me do more better, right? Maybe it takes some of the stuff that I don't like so much to do off of my plate so that I can focus more on the things that I do and can be more effective at. Maybe it just accelerates all of the work that I am really passionate about because I'm able to partner in a way that gives me great ideas and offers me some new suggestions, like that sort of partner space. I feel like that's the opportunity we have to like really bring all of the learning stuff that we do to the next level. Next 5 years, I feel like that's the space, and that we can make self-paced learning more interesting, more engaging, a bit more tailored to the human that has to deal with it.
I like it. I like it. Definitely seeing a lot of people talking about that right now for sure.
I think once we do that, like once we can accelerate our own practice, become more effective and powerful in our own practice, to be the business partners that we need to be for L&D to survive as a function, right? It's that seat at that table. Like, yeah, we need to be the business partner, right? We have to understand the business strategy, what the organization is trying to accomplish, how the organization makes money, all of those things. And I say that coming from a nonprofit, still need to know where the money comes from and how and where it goes to partner with the business in that way, and then become the cultural tugboats. That's what our team sees ourselves as, right? I have a learning team, and we fancy ourselves cultural tugboats. Just what's the organization's goals? What's the destination, the strategy that we're trying to accomplish? And who do we need to be as an organization in order to accomplish that? That's L&D role. Like, who does the organization need to be? That's us. We're going to nudge the organization in that direction using all of the learning skills that we can offer: leadership development, professional development. We partner with teams on team dynamics and culture building, micro culture building to division culture building. How do we get the organization to show up in the way that's going to make it more likely for us to achieve the goals we set out to achieve?
So I love that you're talking about the business's goals versus what are the learning goals. So you're talking about that, and as you're talking about what you're trying to help a hospital do with these microcosms of groups, I just keep thinking of that TV show, The Pit. I mean, they have to function
Yeah.
so well as a group in order to handle all those emergencies. Everybody has to know exactly who's doing what and who's supposed to do what.
I love that show. I have to say, it's so good. I mean, there's a lot going on in the hospital. We have research institute, right? And still, like, the emergency room, the whole thing. And some of the stuff that I think is really cool about that, and what you're talking about, is this idea of interdisciplinary teams. So these are folks who don't pit as a one day, like it's 24 hours. And so it's the same group of people across the 24 hours. In a real emergency room, very much like that, the next day will have a different composition of people, right? So at any given shift, you might have different people coming in and out of the team. It's still a team, but the people who make up that team is a little different. It's way different than the static team that I have, right? It's the same. I have the same six, right? It's the same people all the time. The idea of interdisciplinary teaming like this, and how do we build a culture across an interdisciplinary team where the team members may pop in and out like that? That's a fascinating space to be. Like, how do we set up norms and culture in a space like that, such that it's a culture of respect and integrity and excellence that we're trying to achieve? Those are the really cool challenges that I think face us, and we can play with and have. I say play with and have a good time with, because that's the nerd that I am, and like, because it's so much fun to sort of dig in and deal with those teams in that way.
And it is at the same time serious life and death stuff where what you do. So
Yeah, right. Mine isn't, theirs is, right? And so how, like, that, all of that, like, how do we, there's such, like, burnout is so rampant in spaces like that. I think the pit is very good at sort of demonstrating some of the impacts of that. And it's real. Like, all of that is real. And so how do we incorporate all of how can we take care of ourselves inside of that? How can we check in with people around us, all inside of, like, high tense, high pressure situations like that? You say like net, they're the constant pressure situations. How do we take care of ourselves inside of that? Because they need to show up to be the best possible version of themselves for all of the patients that come in the doors. Really interesting space to work in.
yes, absolutely. Um, so let's shift gears, and why don't you tell us, you talked about, a hiring manager that really influenced you, but who has been your most influential mentor?
Yeah, I'm gonna go right back to Larry. So I wouldn't be here in this conversation, in this job, in this profession, doing any of this work, if it wasn't for him. He HR director. He was an HR director, just saw something in me. Like, "Wow, some lawyer who just showed up, like, I can do contracts." And so he's like, "Yeah, I bet you could. I bet you could do a lot more than that." So yeah, come on board. And then I learned so much from about HR in general. He was an HR director, but then about training and development. Like, the time that I showed up, that HR group did not have a training team. There was no training function in the organization, and he was building one. And so I got to learn, like, watch him do that, how to build a training function. He hired a training and development manager, and I got to learn from that person, that new training development manager. I started doing the training work. So I sort of had these two like a dotted lines situation with both of those folks. It was a ground up observation of how to build a training function. What better possible experience is there as I'm just loving the idea of, the little dopamine hits of light bulb goes off, light bulb goes, I'm setting off, turn off a light, turn on that light bulb, and then watch a whole group of people. No, we're going to have a whole organization sit and have light bulbs go on. I'm like, yes, how do I do more of all of that? Eventually got that. So that training manager left, and then I inhabited that training manager role. So that was my first training manager job, just a couple years in, working for Larry.
That's great. I'm a big proponent of mentoring, whether it's get a mentor when you're young or when you get to be a little long in the tooth like you and I, be a mentor.
Right. Mentor everyone.
Yes. Everybody needs a little help when they're at the start of their career getting going here.
Yeah. I mean, just to know that this career exists, right? Just to know that happens. There are a lot of folks in the organization. So we have a lot of exposure in the organization because of the amount of work that we do. It tends to be pretty visible. And so people, and we offer them, it's fun. What we do is fun, right? Like when we are passionate about it, it gets to be a whole lot of fun, and they see the fun that we have. And then we just create engaging experiences, lots of activity and conversation and dialogue, wisdom of the room, connect with people where they are. And it's excited. Like, how do I get on your team? I want to do what you do. How do we do that? Like that. That's such a really cool space to be in. It's like, well, come and see behind the curtain, and we'll show you what that all is about. And if you're still excited, let's talk.
That's fantastic. So there's a lot of talk right now about skills. What do you think is the most important skill workers need right now?
I'm not going to say AI. I'm going to say, it might be even more boring, I'm going to say leadership is the most important skill. And I'm going to offer you a Brené Brown definition of leadership. So she's got a new book, Strong Ground. And so this comes from there. Love this definition. A leader is anyone, regardless of title and position, who holds themselves accountable for finding potential in people and ideas, and who has the courage to develop that potential. So much in there that's powerful for me. Anyone, regardless of title. So leadership from anywhere, because it's about finding potential in people and ideas. Great. And the word that really jumps out for me is courage. So when I say leadership is a skill, yes, we need more of that. Entitled leaders, yes. And even in non-titled leaders, informal leaders, people just showing up with that perspective, and the idea of courage sitting inside of that. And courage meaning not fearlessness, but rather acting anyway, like acting in the face of fear. Yeah, it's scary. I'm going to do it anyway, right? We say that at CHOP quite a bit. Like CHOP does amazing stuff. Like, yeah, and a lot of that's scary. We do it anyway. Like it's hard, and we do it. That level of courage. And I'll throw on a couple more things in there. So courage for the leadership side. And then how do you do that? How do I find potential and develop? How do I find and develop potential? Well, curiosity is a way to do that, like genuine curiosity about the world and about the people around you. That I feel like open-ended questions, right? Let's just start with curiosity. It's open-ended questions and a lot of listening. And then compassion. I guess that's 3 skills. Man, that's 3. So courage, curiosity, and compassion are the 3. We use that as a foundation for all the leadership work that we do. Compassion, just the humanity, right? Just keep the humanity in work, right? Keep the humanness that we all bring, that we're all human together. In one of the sessions we do sessions, of course, on feedback, how to deliver effective feedback. We do a session on that. And we use courage, curiosity, compassion around that. Courage to show up to the conversation. Curiosity gets you through that conversation, and compassion for the humanness of a conversation like that, and what it means to be a feedback receiver. And so in that session, I'll do something like, okay, so compassion, hands up, who's never made a mistake before? Go ahead, everybody, hands up. Anyone? Nobody has that. Yeah, compassion. Like we've all been to a place where maybe we didn't do the best thing we could possibly do. Let's have compassion that's maybe what's happening in this conversation with this other person. That's the idea. So I feel like when I say leadership, I really mean these other couple of skills, and not that some titled person who gets to tell everyone what to do, but rather this person who finds potential and shows up in strong ways to develop.
Thank you. And 3 skills is fine. I'm getting 3 for the price of 1, I look like.
That's right. 3 for 1.
I'll take it. And I also got a book recommendation. I didn't know Brene had a new book, so I
Right.
got
Oh,
that
cool.
one.
I,
Oh, there you go. Strong ground. Okay. Well, what is your favorite source for industry news and information?
I can go a different way on this. I feel like I'm going to say Harvard Business Review. I'm subscribed to that. I have that. It's so good, just so good for all across just business, right? If you want to, that's my view. Like I talked earlier about like being a partner to the business and having a business mind, right? Think about how your business leader clients might think
Mhm.
about things, right? And what's important to them and how to connect to that, right? Yeah, I can offer you support to get to the destination you're trying to get to. And that's part of the needs analysis that we do anyway. What are you trying to accomplish? Why are you trying to accomplish that? And we usually have to reverse engineer from something, right? Some organizations better at this now. We've got a learning organization where we are, right? Great. And still a little reverse engineering around somebody shows up with my team needs conflict resolution training. Mm, okay, cool. What's going on? Tell me more. Like show up with curiosity, the courage to like lean into like, I don't think you need that. I actually think something else is going on, but I'm going to find out what that is by asking really curious questions. And so we go and dig around and reverse engineer, find out like, oh, those two people over there don't get along. Or maybe there's a trust challenge, right? So reverse engineering. I say all that really to get back to like that, to really connect with what business leaders are thinking, doing, what they want, to stay immersed in some of that, to stay immersed in what's going on around us. And honestly, HBR brings so much for a leadership development professional that like it's just a great read. Change management, right? Strategic thinking, systems thinking, constantly offering new ideas around those things. So staying in touch with all that I found to be really powerful.
Believe it or not, you're not the only learning leader who's answered that they do HVR. Yeah.
Powerful. Yes.
So you definitely have some colleagues who are interested in
Okay.
that as well. Okay, now here's the last question, and I always give you a heads up ahead of time.
Okay.
What is
Last.
what is one book everyone who wants to be a learning leader should read?
I thought I was going a little different with the HBR answer. And so I think I'm going different here. Maybe not. So this is Nine Lies About Work. That's Marcus Buckingham and Ashley Goodall. It's probably getting up there in years now. Maybe might be like 8 or 9 years old at this point. Love it though. Go back, keep going back to it. Like I've read it so many times. Really what the idea here is it's about challenging sort of the commonly, let's call it challenging the way we've always done it. Well, and it's a lot of the sort of the HR work that it's challenging too. Like we always cascade goals, or like people care about the company that they work for. How about that for a lie? Chapter one, people care about the company that they work for, and that's a lie. That's provocative, right? I love conversations like that. That really brings up, right? And the truth behind that, hope I'm not a spoiler. The truth, it's only the first one. So, so the spoiler is people care what team they work on. They maybe care about what company they join. They care about the team that they work on, and people leave teams. People leave leaders mostly. They don't necessarily leave organizations, right? So it's like digging into that idea of how do we support people. It's a really good leadership book too. And so just challenging the status quo, challenging the because we've always done it this way, right? How can we creatively and respectfully offer ideas that maybe how about we think about this slightly differently? That it's a think different kind of book. Love those kinds of books. And so have been using this, actually use this as a leadership development tool with director level and up. I have a executive come, I co-facilitate with that executive. We pick a chapter of that book and then like have sort of a Socratic, like, so what do you think? And then make it a safe space to have a challenging kind of courageous conversation with, and with a senior executive in the organization and across a couple of directors. It's really fun. It's actually fun. And people will show up to that, encourage and ask questions and be curious and change their minds or take this side or that. It's really good.
So I love it. I love those books that make you think differently. It made me think when you showed it to me, it made me think of this book, probably 30 years old, called Management of the Absurd. I had to read that in my grad program, and it had all of these challenging statements that go against what people believed when the book was written. Like one of the chapters was titled Technology Makes Our Life Harder, Not Easier.
I, I love that kind of conversation, right? That's so good. That's
Right?
so good.
We think it makes our lives easier, but I'm sorry, started work before everybody had a computer. It actually was a little different, like, and you left work at home and left work at work and went home.
Right. Because you couldn't bring it.
You couldn't bring it. No, it was a big computer. It was interesting. So that's definitely gonna hit my reading list. So just so you know, I do audibles.
Oh, yeah.
This book list is a wonderful book list for me. I just finished one that I heard on this podcast called Let Them.
Yeah. 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 Oh,
I enjoyed it. I enjoy that one a lot.
oh, good. Okay. Yeah. That's on my list.
Yes, and so I'll be adding the 9 lies to, my list. It'd be great. So, Scott, you've been an amazing guest. It's been so much fun talking to you. I don't think
Thanks.
I've laughed this much all week.
Oh, wow. I'm glad to be a part of that. And so thanks for having me. I really enjoyed it. I appreciate, I mean, I'm always willing to nerd out about this stuff. Always.
Well, that's great. Well, we'll have to have more conversations together in the future. So, as my thank you to you, Scott, we're going to plant 5 trees in your name. We plant trees in the world as our charity here at Turning Pros, and we planted over 5,500 trees so far
Whoa.
around the world. And so we're going to plant 5 just for you. And it's just our way of saying thank you for being our guest.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for planting trees. That's so good. Thank you. That was a surprise to me.
Well, that's great. And you're so welcome. And again, loved having you on the show. We hope you guys will join us again next week to hear from another learning leader in another industry. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us for the latest episode of Learning Leader Spotlight, interviews with corporate L&D leaders. You'll find links in the show notes to any resources mentioned on today's show. If you're enjoying our podcast, please subscribe so you never miss an episode and leave us a 5-star review.